Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA194. It's going to get worse unless it starts with you. I'm going to go through some numbers here, and these are American stats right now, but this applies around the world. Whether you're North American, European, African, you're Australian, it applies around the world. So Americans in 1776 would consume an average of 4 pounds of sugar per year. Okay? In 1850, that jumped up to 20 pounds. 1994, 120 pounds. Today, 2020, an average of 160 pounds of sugar. Sugar derivatives, sugar alcohol, sugar fructose, which is half of this is fructose. Okay, what does that mean? It's 10% of our daily diet right now. If you look at North Americans, Americans around the world, 10% of our daily diet, which is equivalent to 16-ounce drink daily, okay, consumption, which is 50 gallons per year. This is what the average is consuming now. Now let's get into what this is causing. Fructose increase the fat and liver toxicities, okay? So the fructose increases your liver toxicities. It's toxic. Let's listen to understand. It is toxic, okay? Like alcohol, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Does that ring a bell right now? We have children, the first time in our history, in modern history, that have non-alcoholic liver diseases. Let that sink in. Now listen to understand again. The American Heart Association, on the new sugar guidelines, what they're recommending is that women and men, so women should not have more than 100 calories per day, and men should not have more than 150 calories per day. That is equivalent, so per day from added sugars. 1 can of pop surpasses that. 1 can of pop blows that away. Okay? So imagine the rest of the consumption. What is it like? The percentage of fructose and sugar derivatives, sugar alcohols, etc. that are in foods today, in all processed foods. Why is that? Well, there's a reason. Okay? Imaging technology, modern. We know more about the body in the last 5 years than the last 5,000 years. So the imaging technologies of today are showing a decrease in dopamine, the sensitivity, okay? So decrease in dopamine sensitivity in overweight or obese persons, okay? That used to be me, okay? In overweight and obese person, a decrease in dopamine sensitivity, what does that mean? The heavier the person is, the less responsive they become, which is similar to heroin addicts and alcoholics. So basically, what is the percentage of, if you look at your stats, look at your country where you're from, look at the percentage of obesity and just simple overweight on BMI, body mass index. Look at the BMI on overweight and obese in your country, in your nation, and you're going to find out that basically we have drug addicts everywhere. We have alcoholics everywhere. That's what we have. Because, and again, we're a barcode now. We've become a barcode for systems. And I'm going to get into this, okay? So the increase of heroin addicts and alcoholism, basically overweight people and obese people, the decrease in dopamine sensitivity is showing in imaging technologies. So let's keep going. Cocaine is a plant. And I say this to people all the time. Cocaine is a plant. Heroin is a plant. Sugar is a plant. No differences here. But when you look at a decrease in dopamine sensitivities, meat and added sugars, purine and fructose, okay? So keep this in mind. And I'm talking about a lot of the processed foods that are out there, but meats and added sugars and purine and fructose are associated with gout. If you never had it, I had it when I used to be that 350-pound guy. Hurts like hell, okay? So gout. Hypertension, which is high blood pressure. Your obesity, diabetes, pre-diabetes, kidney disease, and cardiovascular disease. If you look at these three things here, hypertension, which is your high blood pressure, your obesity, your pre-diabetics and diabetics, what has COVID, if your top three things that people are dying from are those with hypertension, obesity, and diabetes or pre-diabetes. It's what, and I've said this to people, COVID all has done is has shown how unhealthy we are. It's augmented all these conditions and to death, right? So let's keep going here. Fast food is everywhere. Literally, it's everywhere. Short order cooks. That's all we have now, okay? Unless you go to a real family restaurant, real family-owned restaurant, which I'm going to get into in a second, You have fast food everywhere, pretty much on every street corner, which short order cooks are all they're doing is reheating processed box and bags. That's all they're doing, okay? So global factory farming, the overcrowding of global factory farming is linked to a lot of these viruses, deadly viruses here. So the global factory farming, filthy, overcrowded, breathing of the same congestion of air, it is proven that chickens that live outside, that free-range chickens, there's no contagion, no viruses were ever found from that. Because a lot of the viruses die when exposed to the outside and air and the sun, etc., compared to global factory farming. But how do you feed 7 billion? What is the percentage now? We're going to be 10 billion by a certain year here. So we are in the 19th century. Look at your stats. We were like, what, a billion? And now we're at 7.5 billion. They're projecting 10 billion, etc., etc. This is why we have global factory farming. So the overcrowding is creating the increase in deadly viruses. The timelines in between the deadly viruses are getting shorter and shorter. Look at your history. Do your research. 1918, H1N1. Remember the 1918 pandemic that wiped out half the earth, right? So that was H1N1. 1957, H2N2. 1997, H5N1. 1999, H9N2. 2002, H7N2. 2003, H7N7. 2004, H7N3 and H10N7. 2013, that's your SARS, H7N9. 2019, 2020 is basically your SARS, COVID-2. This is what's happening, right? The timelines are increasing because the population is growing. We're having live bird markets and global factory farming. They're the same, right? Overcrowding, filthy, etc., etc. And we know this. They know this, right? But they have to. It's about profitability, right? You don't run a business for nothing, right? It's about profitability and shareholders and so forth. And the demand is on you, right? Your fast foods, your junk upon junk upon junk. That's what you want. That's what you want to consume, right? And what's interesting, during COVID and lockdowns, family restaurants are the biggest ones that were targeted, but yet fast food and a lot of these big processed food chains never stopped. In fact, profitability skyrocketed. My daughter went to this franchise, I won't name a name, and there's only pickup only. The restaurant was packed for pickup only. And that's what they're seeing. Those numbers are skyrocketing in the processed food and fast food, etc. With short order cooks basically preparing fast food meals that come from overcrowded factory farming that create all these viruses. We haven't seen nothing yet when it comes to viruses. We haven't seen nothing yet. I'm telling you right now, the worst is yet to come. And how do we change that? We change that by eating healthy. Demand real food. Family restaurant would love to serve you real food because they do already. They're the ones with the real chefs. They're the ones with the real cooks, not the short order cooks that just reheat processed bags and boxes. They prepare the ingredients. They mix it all up. Look, define cook, define chef, and define short order cooks. You're going to get your answers. So eat real food, go to real family restaurants and so forth. If you are to live in an area that has land or where you're allowed, your zoning allows you to have livestock, have your own chickens. I know this personally from individuals that are personal friends of mine that have their own chickens, get their own egg and get their own chicken. They say they all speak highly of it. They're basically, they eat everything green from your house. Any of your waste from your dinners and your lunches and that, the real food, they're natural composters. They eat everything that's real, right? You get real eggs, they get real chicken, and they basically compost for you. That's number one. And then you go, start exercising, invest in yourself, move. I've talked about this. Eat your real food, nutrient dense. I completely understand empty calories now. But if you look at this fructose world, it's empty calories. That's why you're always hungry. That's why we're eating 17 to 21 times a day. I'm eating no more than twice a day max on average, right? Because I don't need it. And I'm 240 pounds average here. And because I don't need it, I understand what nutrient dense is, because when I eat nutrient dense, I'm not hungry. I eat my waters, I have my green teas, I have my coffees, and I eat my one max, on average 1 meal a day. I've talked about this before, but max 2 meals a day at the most. 2 calorie windows at the most, because I'm full. My brain is full, my heart is full, my lung is full, everything is full. Like my heart, mind, and soul, I don't need more. Why? Because I don't have empty I haven't had a pop since June 3rd, 2019, literally, right? I haven't basically eaten processed food since June 3rd, 2019. So hence why I've lost 110 pounds, and I don't need to eat 17, 21 times a day. I don't need the num, because I'm not, it's like alcoholics and heroin addicts. I'm not an addict anymore. I'm not addicted to the drug of sugars and processed foods and fructose and so forth, because I took it out of my life on June 3rd, 2019. And then I was researching 6 months before all that time frame. And since then, I have probably 20,000 hours in my brain of research. And this is the research that I'm coming out with. It is mind-boggling. And the stats and the data are out there. The numbers are there, the data is there, the research is there. So in closing, invest in yourself. Eat real food. Go to restaurants that have real chefs and real cooks and real food. Move, do something every day, stretch. I did yoga this morning. Every day I do something. And some days it's only 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. But everything else that I do throughout my day, whether I'm going up the stairs, whether I'm picking up something or delivering something or moving something, I do it with a purpose. I raise my heart rate. That's what I do. Hence why I've lost 110 pounds, right? I'm going to be 55 here and I got abs. And this is, it's actually, if you look at your oldest statue, I tell this to my daughter, your oldest Greek mythologies or your Roman statues, everybody was fit if you look at them. Why? Because they only ate on average once a day. They didn't eat 17 to 21 times a day. They weren't addicts. They weren't addicted. And they didn't have all these conditions that I just talked about. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA194, starts with you.